everybody, JCB here at the Awesomeness, and you're watching the Awesomeness YouTube channel. Today is day 7, and I'm visiting Calico Ghost Town, which is a real-life, Old West-era ghost town just a few hours away from where I live. Now, for those of you wondering, yes, I technically missed day 6 because I lost all my files. I accidentally deleted them, which meant I had no footage for a video yesterday. I did make a post all about it, though, yesterday. It's on my channel if you're interested. Anyway, I've lived near Calico for pretty much my entire life. And while my older sister went one time with my parents when I was really little, for some reason I had never gotten around to going until today. Apparently I missed out, as a general consensus seems to be that it was way better back in the 80s, and even better before that.
It used to be really active, like the whole time. And they would have all the characters the entire time that you were here. Out in the middle of the streets, there's a town drunk. He's usually pretty nice. And we have old boys walking around. Yeah, just conservatively.
Yeah. Leave your comments down below if you've been to Calico Ghost Town, when you went, and if you think it's changed drastically since then. I'd like to know if you think it's gotten better or worse over the years. For those of you who don't know, which is probably most of you, Calico was an Old West mining town that was founded back in 1881, a full 100 years before I was born. Calico contains 500 mines and produced over $20 million in silver ore over a 12-year span. Then, in the mid-1890s, when the Silver Purchase Act was passed into law and the price of silver dropped drastically, working the mines was no longer economically feasible. Soon after, the miners packed up, loaded their mules, and moved away, abandoning the town they once loved. At its peak, the town was home to a weekly newspaper, 3 hotels, 5 general stores, a meat market, bars, brothels, as well as 3 restaurants and boarding houses. There was also a school district, although the town had just the one school. Calico also had a deputy sheriff, 2 constables, 2 lawyers, a justice of the peace, 5 commissioners, and 2 doctors. There was also a Wells Fargo office and a telephone and telegraph service. For the 1880s, it was pretty advanced. In addition to mining silver, the town also mined borate elements, which are used in many modern-day products, including fiberglass. The wealthiest citizens even had some pretty primitive versions of modern conveniences. And just about everywhere you look, you'll find artifacts, real-world relics of how the people of Calico lived during its heyday. Some of these items are the last of their kind, and all of them are well over 100 years old. This sign marks the so-called mystery spot. If you stand at one end of a level platform, you'll appear taller, and the other end, shorter. My theory goes, it's because even though the piece of concrete is level, it's going into elevated space. While this was my first time visiting Calico, my wife had actually been here a few times as a kid and also a couple times as an adult. And in her eyes, it's changed quite a bit from when she was little. You've been talking a lot throughout the day about how much things have changed from what you can remember. Like, what are some of the things you feel like have changed that make it not as fun as it used to be?
Well, as atmosphere-wise, there are a lot less people that are character people and that are engaging in what you're doing as a visitor of the old town.
I should interject though and say we came really late, so maybe they're all gone.
We did come.
Yeah, they could all just be gone. Walter Knott of Knott's Berry Farm fame purchased Calico in the 1950s in an attempt to use cyanide to further process silver out of the mines. He restored all but 5 of the original buildings to look as they did during the 1880s.
Okay.
Calico received state historical landmark status soon after, and it's officially recognized by the state of California as a certified ghost town. That doesn't mean things have stayed as they were, however. For instance, back when my wife was a kid, the inside of this bottle house used to be basically empty, and you could see all the light shining in through all the different bottles, and it was apparently really cool. Now it's just a weird, souvenir shop with skulls and, modern day trinkets and things that you wouldn't really expect to see in an Old West town. So it's kind of weird. Today, Calico is part of the San Bernardino County Regional Park System and is visited by people from all around the country and all over the world. The park offers visitors an opportunity to share in its rich history and enjoy the natural beauty of the surrounding desert environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Along with its history and attractions, the park operates mine tours, the historic 2-foot by 6-inch narrow gauge Calico and Odessa Railroad, which takes you out back along hundreds of mine shafts and is actually quite the educational experience, which I highly recommend. It's also the only thing that can be even remotely considered any kind of a ride at this park, so if you're looking to sit down and rest for a bit, the train ride is definitely the way to go. After getting off the train, we decided to take one of the mine tours, and I gotta say, that was a lot of fun. Unlike Marvel Cave in Missouri, which was just massive, the Calico mine isn't really all that big. In fact, I had heard that part of the cave actually collapsed during an earthquake several years ago, and so it's even smaller than it used to be. However, it's still a really neat experience. It shows you a lot of the tools and equipment that was used back in the 1800s, and they have these little like diorama things set up with like mannequins standing in for miners. But of course, the best part is that the mine itself is actually real. People used to actually mine silver out of this mine, and that makes it special. It's the sort of experience that a major theme park like Disneyland would go to great expense to recreate artificially with like painted cement and things like that, and it'd all just be a facade. At Calico, it's a real mine, and it's all just really neat and definitely an experience, especially if you have little kids, because they will have never done anything like this before. It'll just absolutely blow their minds. After we exited the mine, we took a short hike and looked around for a little bit until we got to the very top where you can see the entire town. We were up here for a minute just admiring the view, and that's when we spotted what looked like doorways that went right into the side of the mountains. So of course we had to go check that out. I don't know how accurate this is, but I read online that these were actually the houses of the town's Chinese citizens who were apparently just treated like absolute crap. I mean, as you can see from their living conditions. If you're interested in what's inside, you can actually take a step right up to the doorway and peer in through the window. It's a little weird, but thankfully nobody's lived here in like 100 years. Many of these so-called houses were literally just caves dug into the side of the mountain, with rocks for walls and wires for windows. It's kind of sad. You were saying that it was different when you were younger.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking like an old timer. Back in my day,
When I was little.
there were actual horses walking these streets.
True.
Really?
Accurate.
But when you came with your nieces and nephew, was it summer?
Yeah, it was summer.
Okay. And was it still kind of more like this
Yeah.
than it was when you were a
Yeah.
kid? Okay.
And there was more things like throughout the entire day, and like projects and things you
Yeah.
could do, and games you could play, and all of that stuff. And like the best part was like throwing your dad or your mom in jail and like laughing at them because the sheriff would be over there and be like, you can't come out.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh my god, I put my parents in jail.
But nowadays, kids' parents are actually in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not like, this is hilarious. It's like, oh yeah, this is like last month when you got out of jail.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Should they just embrace it and go full-blown theme park? Put a minecart roller coaster in, put a water slide during the summer.
I don't think that's practical here.
I've been told that special events are held throughout the year, including a spring festival in May and Calico Days in early October, as well as the Ghost Town Haunt in late October, which I might need to check out.
So, for being your first time there, what do you feel like your experience was?
Like you said, we came really late, so I feel like had we gotten here in the morning, maybe it'd be better because there'd be more like costume characters and like educational things going on or whatever. As it was, it's weird because it's like trying to ride this line between being almost like a historical preserve, because they talk about how they have like 5 buildings that have been standing since it was originally a town. But then they're also trying to do like the modernization thing, where they're trying to sell merchandise that appeals to people today, right? And they're kind of trying to ride that line, and I don't think either one really works. Like, it's not modern enough to be a tourist destination, but it's not old-timey enough to really satisfy that either. Like, I feel like they either need to embrace it fully and make it an amusement park of some sort, even though, like you said, it's probably just structurally impossible because of all the mines and stuff, or they need to go full-blown natural preserve and make it a destination for people who really want to learn about the Old West and not necessarily have all that other nonsense, you know? I feel like they need to pick one or the other because it doesn't quite work the way it is right now. At least
But does it?
my experience.
Yeah, but does it not work because we want the old experience and the education and the fun, and other people that are there maybe want somewhere to go relaxing with their kids, and their kids still kind of get a kick out of it, yet they didn't actually go anywhere.
I don't know. Like I said, being my first time and never having experienced it in its heyday, I really don't know. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as I release new videos every day for the next 44 days. So until next time, keep being awesome. Because it didn't make any sense. They'd be retracking a coaster that didn't seem to have any track problems. And two, they never said at any point that it was going to actually reopen at Six Flags Magic Mountain, just that they were going to retrack it. So it was really weird, and as I said multiple times, we just didn't have enough information at the moment. Anyway, today we have more information.